it was a nice, fun day.
Okay, all good. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to
Welcome.
ScumCast. Welcome to ScumCast. I thought you were frozen for a second, but you're just like looking at your machine. I realized we haven't introduced ourselves in a while. I feel like all this fame has gotten to my head that I just think people know me. So
I was on the tube. I was on the tube yesterday, and some girl with I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if it was a girl. I'm not gonna assume. She looked
right.
She looked. It was honestly about 60%, 40%. I was like, it could be a guy, it could be a girl, but I went girl 60% probably. She was looking at me a bit, and I was like, she just knows me. She just knows me. I'm fucking famous. She knows me. I was like, I was like, honestly, just get your phone out. Come here. We'll just take a photo.
Just ask me to sign your tits.
Come up to me and do it because, look, it's just get it out. Also crazy. Would you also, the Drake lyric where he's just like, when I was young, I was teased for being black, but now I'm rapping, I'm not black enough.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like that, but English. In Australia, I'm English. But here, I'm South African.
You're the least English. You're the least English.
I'm not yeah, dude. No one has thought I'm English yet. Everyone thinks I'm fucking some foreigner. Everyone thinks I'm a foreigner.
Well, you do have more of an Australian accent, so it would make sense. They're not going to be
I haven't once got Australian then. I've got American and I've got South African.
They're just bad at telling accents then.
I get South African way too often, hey. Honestly.
But South Africans
maybe they just see what I'm doing.
South Africans really
maybe
close.
Maybe they just judge me by my actions.
Yeah, they just judge you on your history. It's funny because that's what I was thinking. That's what I feel that Drake lyric now. It's a perfect time. It's a perfect time to actually say this. To all the fans that do want to approach me and want to say hello or get an autograph and stuff like that, don't say a word to me. Just come with your tits out. Just with your tits out, I'll sign your tits and walk away.
Even if you're a guy?
Yeah, dude. I'll sign your chest. I'll sign your chest.
No, only if you got tits.
Yeah. I only sign fat guys' tits. I don't.
Honestly, I would respect that.
I would too.
That. But yeah, honestly, I've never felt a Drake lyric more than that at the moment. Yeah.
Right.
Because then being English is so close to being half caste in so many ways.
Yeah, I think I don't understand that one, but let's just let that one slip.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say as well. Did you see all the Elon Musk stuff?
No, that's the one thing I actually haven't watched. I've seen some people talk about it and some highlights, but he crushed them. He crushed the interview.
It's honestly, it's kind of sad. I will say it's kind of sad. I don't know how much of the BBC were behind it. In terms of
so you mean sad as in sad for their journalism because it's look what the fuck you're trying to do.
Yeah. It was just he did not come prepared. He just came to try and poke and didn't expect Elon to just be no, I'm not going to have this sort of thing. And it was so obvious how unprepared he was for what he was trying to do and just trying to push the narrative out something.
Yeah.
It was it's honestly it's a fun watch. It's a fun watch. I won't lie because
I will have to watch it. I just haven't had a chance.
It's essentially just Elon asking for proof or examples and him being I don't have any, but this is what I've seen, and then him being well, tell me what you've seen, and then him not knowing. Which is it's really bad. It's really strange as well because it's. The BBC is kind of known for how right-wing media in terms of
they're also known for other
people
things,
that run it.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's weird because that's a really that's just a bashing because Elon is now being pushed into that side, right? Because he's a millionaire. And people don't people. As soon as you're a millionaire, you're no, you're on that side. You're with.
Well, he's a billionaire. He's,
Since you're a billionaire, you're with the evil people. And you are what's wrong with the world.
Well, you do know that's how you become. There's no way. You'll get to 999 million, right? And then they go, we can't let you go. We can't let you be a billionaire unless you fuck this little kid. And then, or you sign, and you also have to sign yourself, like your soul to the devil. And then as soon as you do that, then they give you that extra $1 and they're like, you're a billionaire now. You know what I mean? But otherwise, they don't let you go past that threshold because that's the only way you make
kids all the time.
Bro, how do you, bro? It's crazy like that. People like even like question these things. It's like, how do you think our podcast blew up? Like we signed our souls. Like I signed it off.
We like
day one, dude. Day one. I fucking
and people out here acting like it's a tough decision. Like,
okay, you know how people are like, yeah, but what about the afterlife? What about it? Ready. After.
Right? I'll worry about it then. I'll worry about it
exactly. Why am I worried?
Do you know that's what I've been thinking about recently, right? Because like there's in the UK, you will learn there's a lot of people that literally just preach the Jesus Christ. And they're talking about the devil and everything. And I'm like, man, so many people are scared of someone that doesn't exist, hey? Like my man's didn't like hasn't the devil's never been
like okay, see, I can agree with you on like the archetype of the devil of like this guy with the tail and shit, but I don't know if I can fully agree with you with like I think there is evil in the world. And I think it's more so
they're not saying that. That's not what they're saying.
But they chalk it up to one guy. You know what I mean? It's not one guy, dude. He's not God. You know?
But what are we supposed to do? Kill all the evil?
Isn't that another isn't that another crazy
thing? All the evil?
Isn't that another crazy thing, right? Is like they say that like God is like the strongest one, right? And he's omnipresent and all of these things. But then they like chalk up the devil to be like equal. And it's like, well, then God's not the strongest, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because honestly, God could.
Because if the devil can trick so many
surely God just gives a right hook.
Right. That makes me like, and God made the devil by what they say, right? So in my head, I'm thinking like, if I fucking, you know, like if I make a song, right? If I make a beat on my computer, I can just delete it. No, I can listen to it and be like, oh, start crying. This is the most beautiful beat in the world. I'm losing my mind to this. But I can still delete it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just feel like
100%.
And another thing with the whole, like, that's another thing with like religion that I find really fascinating is I think a lot of people turn to religion for good reasons. And then I think some people turn to religion just out of fear of death.
Yeah. No, I've said that a lot.
Yeah, and it's like, because it's like, it's a lot of these religions are preaching like, you have to do things this way now, so then in the afterlife, you get to have all these things, or you're in heaven, God will love you. And it's like, what do you do?
It's a moral to survive. It's
Right.
a reason to survive. It's a reason to be alive and like escape from reality. Like for a lot of people, I'm not saying like I agree. Like,
I'm saying not everyone is like that, but I know a large proportion.
But also like that kind of is the good part of it as well. Like for those people, like if it does that for you, then go for it. Like if you're not, if that's what if it
gets you through the day, dude. Yeah, if you get through the day,
that's
man,
what I mean.
Go ahead,
like, that's the in my opinion, that's the positive actual side of religion. Is it does give people meaning. It allows people to treat people the way that they should treat people. Because like, for an example, I don't need morals and the Bible or the Quran or whatever it is to know that I have to treat people with respect to get respect back. I'm not dumb. I shouldn't have said that. I don't need that. But some people apparently need that. So that's fine. And if you need that, then do that. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Because apparently some people will just go killing people if that's the case. But then some people take it too far. That's like that. It's like that balance where like the worst people are also probably very incredibly religious because they're like, oh, this means that every other religion is bad. And well,
I think there's bad people on every spectrum, like every side, like
exactly.
Like how, like, and we always go back to this conversation, but it's just so like it's so prevalent and it's so like ominous that, and like the fact that no one does anything about it, and it's just kind of crazy. But I read this statistic: there's been more school shootings, right, in America this year than there has been days.
Jeez. Yeah, that's mental.
That really chalks it up. You know what I mean? Because like, let's just think about like what a mass shooting is. A mass shooting isn't one person, right?
It's like over 4, isn't it?
Yes. So basically, you're just basically saying you're chalking it up to like thousands and thousands of dead bodies in a year for the sake of what? And like recently it's been really crazy, but like they've been really pushing these like weird agendas. Like they're really like glorifying people that are doing the mass shootings, but that are like of different genders or of different cultures. You know what I mean? Like it's you know what I mean?
It's
like
become a stick, hey, because like you remember that transgender, there was a transgender one recently that did it, hey.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
and
and there
like
was another one
you've
that
got people
stopped.
going.
Yeah, another transgender person got stopped from doing it, and they found like a full manifesto.
I think that was the one, maybe. That was the one I maybe.
No, there was one
that
did it. There was one that did it, and then there was another one that got caught. Yeah.
Oh, okay, but yeah, you've got people now that like are like, yes, it wasn't a Christian guy, or yes, it wasn't
a fucking
which is
like
it
insane,
it's like,
dude.
What? Like it's like that's ridiculous. It's got to that point.
You shouldn't like it's that whole like, oh, they are enemies, so it's cool like if they fuck up because then it's on them and we can patronize them and say these things about them. And it's like, yeah, but like at what expense? At the expense of human lives? Like, okay.
Yeah,
like,
imagine a school got shot
oh,
up
my
and your
side's
first
winning.
thought is like, what does he believe in?
Yeah.
What does he believe in?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like,
oh, yeah, insane.
That's
insane.
mental. Hey,
the craziest thing was
team.
The craziest thing is just like journalism itself is collapsing, and it's kind of crazy because it's like there is no like there's only a rare amount of people out there that have actual like journalistic integrity left. Do you know what I mean? Like they ask questions. They ask questions for the sake of wanting to know. They're not trying to impose or like push someone into a corner in any way. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
And I feel like majority of the time
it's all what's the word when you're doing it for yourself?
Intrinsic? No,
but it's all like
selfish.
It's all individual. It's all individual. Is it like a good journalist nowadays is an individual? Like they don't work for a company. They don't work for anything. They do it because they want to like.
Yeah. Well, because
the
they're
perfect
interested in the
examples
news.
for me. 100%. The perfect examples for me is someone like Ariel Hawani. I think Ariel Hawani is fantastic.
Oh, dude,
like,
legitimately, legitimately unrivaled in the MMA community, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like Chael Sonnen. I like Chael Sonnen. I'm not gonna lie, but Ariel is just like something about him and his curiosity for the sport. Even though he's never like, at least with Chael, you can be like, yeah, that makes sense. He went with that route. He is a fighter. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
While Ariel, he's just a fan. You know what I mean? He loves it. I'm not saying, I don't know if he does any martial arts or anything, but I know he's not a professional fighter for sure. So.
I just know for a fact that he comes like, you can like him or not, but that he comes like trying to get the answers.
Right. And that's why I respect him even more, because like he's not asking these questions because like the corporation has an agenda or like this. And he's another one of those people that some interviewers nowadays, they'll ask a few questions and then things that they feel like they might get some pushback on, they're like, just evade them, they just ignore them. And they're like, nah, we won't ask that. That might get us publicized somewhere else. That might get us in issues with someone else. And so they don't do it. Well, Ariel, he usually just asks the fighters, even though like, he'll be like, look, sorry to ask you this, but like, da-da-da, and go into it, and sometimes the fighters won't agree with him. Sometimes they won't, but he plays it off well. Like he like he asks what he wants to know.
There's not many journalists like that on like real world topics, like, in terms of like, not like a sport, if that makes sense. Like football, for an example, the best one's probably David Ornstein. Like he's probably the best like journalist in that case. Like, but there's always going to be low key guys, but he like like Aaron Hawani, who like is the best. There's no one really in that, like in the political world now. I think it gets way too like hazed, and journalism I just don't think exists. It's all like skewed. Like for an example, like politicians, I think will only do an interview if they know what they're getting out of it.
Right,
like,
exactly.
It's all set. It's all the best ones in my opinion is actually probably someone like Lex Friedman. I'll give him credit. I think Lex in terms of like someone,
I love Lex,
because I would count him as a journalist.
Yeah, for sure.
Weirdly. Like because he does more like interviewee kind of, like he's more interviewwy. He's very conversational, but like he's a lot more interviewee.
Right. And like,
he searches people up a lot.
Like he really like looks into them in depth usually. That's what I noticed from his podcast at least.
super intelligent dude though as well, like just crazy intelligent. Like yeah. And he knows Messi's the GOAT, so I've got to respect him.
Well, that's the only thing I disagree with him. He's wrong in that, but it's all right, bro. Like even the greatest scientists in the world were wrong before, you know.
Bro, do you know what's crazy? That when I watched the World Cup final with you, and you'll go, yeah, no, fair enough.
I admitted it because he definitely is the guy. The only reason I always say no is just to fuck with you, just like you fuck with me with the Drake thing. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, I understand. But yeah, no, journalism is a dying art. But like, I think at the same time that makes people respect.
I think it's just the environment. The environment which
like what it is
with it's in now is corrupted.
Yeah, I think it's dying in terms of like it's suffering in terms of the general aspect of it. But like what you see, for an example, like general media and everything is dying. But
old media, yeah.
But
newspapers, things like that. Yeah,
it makes good journalists really stand out as like, okay, you're actually someone that like wants to know. Yeah. So it's good in that case, which is like I think that's with everything, right? Because like I remember comedy a little while ago, and comedy for me is a weird one, right? Because recently I've not really had anyone that's like really stand out to me that is like pushing barriers. It's like doing this, doing that. Comedy was at a weird point.
I disagree with that. I mean, I'd say Shane Gillis.
I know Shane Gillis. Yeah, I haven't like listened to him much.
Well, yeah, if you listen to his stand-up, and all of the other comedians have been saying it for a while now, like because he got a lot of pushback while he was on SNL because of like his jokes that he was making. But if you listen to Shane Gillis, like podcast aside, like he's very open in the podcast, but podcast aside, his stand-up, yeah, I think he's pushing it.
I'll give him.
I think he's pushing the boundaries.
But I mean, like, not. I don't mean it in terms of that though. I mean it more in terms of like that is like I remember like maybe even a year or 2 years ago when everyone was saying comedy is like struggling. People were like this, that, and whatever. Like they're not allowing to speak. I think it was the opposite. I think we were just I think that was comedy kind of breaking out of that. If that makes sense. Like, I think it kind of went down a hole because I don't like now every comic I see says whatever they want.
Right.
Like I've never like it's not I don't think it's in a bad state at all. I think it's like in a really good, like healthy state.
I think the only reason they kept saying those things is because it was starting to gain some traction again in terms of being real comedy, as in like you say whatever you say, what you mean, but in a funny way. And yeah, some people might be offended, but that's what like some of the best comedians of all time have all said. You don't want the whole room laughing. You want at least a one or two motherfuckers in there being like, "What? You can't say that." You know what I mean? And that's where it's the edge. That's where the best jokes are. You know what I mean? Like, and I think you're definitely right. I think it has pushed back, and now like comedians are just so open. Like even just the simplest immature shit like that, I don't feel like people would have done before. But like I'll give an example. What's the North Korean chick that escaped? What was her name?
Naomi Parks.
Something like that.
Naomi.
Something like that. Yeomin Park. Naomi lol. It's Yeomin. Anyways.
Is it Yeomin?
I'm pretty sure, it's Yao Min or something like that. Park. I think so, from what I remember. Anyways, regardless, people know who she is. She's famous. When she was on the Andrew Schultz podcast, the Flagrant 2 podcast, they were making
jokes a weird crossover, hey.
Right. It was great. It was a great podcast though. And she was such a fucking champion. And what she actually said was like something so deep, which I'll go into after, but they were making jokes about her tits and calling it the heavies.
Yeah.
And apparently because they kept calling it the heavies, people kept posting comments on her Instagram photos of like weights being lifted. And she didn't know what the joke was. So she assumed the whole time everyone was calling her fat. Right? But Andrew and all of them were just talking about the heavies because she got the fakes. You know, she got the fakies, the nice heavies.
Yeah, good on her.
But even she took that well. The whole time they were making jokes about the heavies and would say things and like throughout the whole 2-hour podcast, there was a few jokes in there about the heavies, but she took it all so well. And one thing that she said, which really like blew my mind, but it also kind of like assured me that we're once again on the right path, is she's like, oh, it's like she was laughing and she's like, this is so beautiful. She's like, I've never felt like this before, where someone is making fun to my face and it's all okay. She's like, where I'm from in South Korea. She's like, where I'm from in North Korea. She's like, there's such strict standards to everything, and no one will say anything to your face that might be offensive at all or a joke against you. And she's like, what she said was, she said that, and she goes, I love freedom. And I was like, wow.
That's crazy, because like that shows that like that avenue is totalitarian. I can never say it.
Totalitarianism. Yeah.
I can never say that. Too many T's.
Yeah. Unknown T's. Unknown T. Too many unknown T's.
Too many T. But yeah, I like that's crazy that kind of proves in a way that like going down that avenue is just strictly
that's what happens.
North Korea.
Yeah. This is what happens.
Because it's as simple, right? It's as simple as who makes the rules.
Right. Who dictates
whoever makes the rules?
Who dictates what's wrong and what's right?
Yeah. Who says yes? Because there's a great point going back to that Elon Musk interview where he goes, oh yeah, I've seen a lot of hate speech, and Elon Musk goes, what's hate speech?
Right.
And then he's just like,
he's stunned. Yeah.
Elon is really like, he's quite gentle about it at the start. He gets a little bit more frustrated towards it.
I'm down to watch. I'm keen to watch this, for sure.
But he essentially just says like, can you please just like, what he doesn't even say it in a prerogative way. He kind of just says, hey, can you give me your opinion of what you would classify it as
hate speech?
Which then he eventually boiled down to like racism, sexism, and he goes, okay, so like, are you seeing that?
Which is also, motherfucker, it's the internet. Good luck getting rid of all of that. Yeah, good.
Do you know what's crazy? Do you know what's crazy? And like, look, there is still a lot of it on Twitter, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot less of it than there used to be.
Because they got sure as well. You know why? Because they got rid of so many bots, and that's what the bots were doing.
And I think another thing as well that he's been really big on is like, there's a shit ton of child porn on Twitter.
Yeah, it's fucked.
And I'm fairly sure that he's like put that as like number one thing to like get rid of. Because there's a lot of it apparently.
Well, did you see the bill that they're trying to pass in America now to make it okay for like minors and like people that are adults like to sleep together as long as there's consent?
Yeah, I mean, fucking like.
That's insane. Know, like, come on, like that is insane. Like, how do you what defines
what's the age? Again, what's the age? Like, I already have a problem. I already have a problem
any minor.
With the age
trying
of
to make
18,
it any minor. No, they're trying to make it
any
minor.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But like, what is the problem? Like, what do you say? What is the age?
Like, there is no age. Like, they're never going to be specific.
It's impossible.
Yeah, but they're never going to be specific about it, because why would they?
So if they're specific? If you go up to a baby, and he goes, yeah,
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's how crazy it is. But that's how crazy it is. Is what do you define as consent? Because like, let's say, okay, give a great example of incestual rape, right? One of the worst things that can probably happen to you, right? And you're living in this household with, let's say, maybe a parent, grandparent, uncle, auntie, whatever, and it happens to you, and then the cops come and you go, oh, but I consented, because they told you that you need to tell the cops that you consented.
Yeah, otherwise your parents are going away for like forever.
Or they're just going to kick you out of the house, and you're a fucking child, and you're like, well, okay, I'll let them touch my willy, or like suck their willy.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It's so messed up, but like that's what with all of these new laws and regulations that they're trying to pursue and put through, there's such a ambiguous way of writing it that there's so many loopholes you can find, and all of these loopholes are only really loopholes for people that are like look, sick in the head. Yeah,
there's I don't know. There's a lot of.
Well, it's that, you know what? There's that loophole in like in our law, at least in Australia, that I know of, where if you commit manslaughter, right, and you admit you're guilty, but you you plead for bail on a case of like negligence in terms of like depression, or you've got some other fucking problem with you, you know what I mean? Like, and you know what I mean? You can loophole that. You can loophole that pretty fucking well. You know what I mean?
We know someone, right?
Yeah, we do, but I don't want to bring it up, you know? So I'm just saying in general, as an example of something like that, it's insane. That's why it's so scary that they want to implement all of these new laws and regulations. And did you see in France, the court and the other politicians have sided with the French president. So even though the people have been fucking rioting for the past like month or so and destroying half of France, the politicians are still like, nah, yeah, we'll still raise the fucking retirement age, which is insane as well, because it's only a 2-year difference. It's like, you needed your people to work 2 more extra years?
Yeah. The retirement age is a strange one. I mean, I think it's the age where you get your pension or something. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't plan on needing it, hopefully. But it's like, that's I don't know. Like, it's just a strange world, bro. It's a strange world.
Do they have pensions over there in the UK? Because we don't have pensions here anymore.
It's called a pension, because like over there you have your superannuation. Here
which isn't your pension.
It's the same thing, but it isn't.
Because you don't. Because our generation, some of the older generations still get a pension and a retirement fucking thingy.
Yeah, it's different here. It's different here. You just don't have your superannuation here. Like, you can put money towards your pension, which you get when you retire, right. I think. But over there in Australia, I think you get your pension and you also have your superannuation.
No, you only get your super. Our generation.
No, but I'm saying when you. Oh, so when you retire, you won't get your
no, neither of us, pension. Neither me or you. They changed this a few years back. So from like a specific generation onwards, from like this specific, I can't remember, it was like 1990 something onwards, all the people that are born then and onwards, that's why they implemented this super. So I know, dude. I don't even know it. Like, I think I didn't make it in that fucking part of the oldies, but unfortunately I'm with you guys, and I just have to.
Yeah, I need to I actually need to sort that out, because I have a stupid amount of money in my superannuation, which is kind of just pointless at the moment. So I kind of need to take all that out.
Right.
Because like the problem is they what's it called? They invest it and so on and so forth. But I trust my investments way more than any fucking dude.
Right.
Rest.
Yeah.
No offense,
shout out to Rest. I'm at Rest as well.
Yeah, they're all right. So I need to get all that, because I got shit tons. I got like 33K in there or some shit. So
I think I have about 10.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot because I've been working since I was like fucking like a slave since I was 18.
Yeah, fair enough.
But and like when you're working, it's a good thing to put money into, because it does compound and it does pretty well generally. But shit, now I'm thinking about it. That's the money I need to take out and just put into the global index. That's what I need. Like 30K. That's like fucking.
You can play around with that.
What am I doing?
And not like you're ever going to go back to Australia and use your super anyways.
That's what I mean. So I actually got to think about that. That's 30K that I've got to think about how I'm going to put into things. Because if that. No, gee, I'm just.
Bro, what do you mean you're going to think about where you're going to put it, bro? Or I'll put my 30 grand right on Elon, bro. Just on Elon.
I'll put it on red.
Yeah, I'll put it on Elon.
No, I'll put it on red at the cast, bro. Put it all on red.
Oh yeah, just
fucking one with that spin. Let's go.
Let's go.
If we lose, double it. Put it on red again. You can't lose.
By the way, you're already wrong. This just goes to show that you've never been to the casino. There's no such thing as red on the roulette table. There's black and white.
I'm pretty sure it's red.
There's black and white, and then there's the numbers. The table is red. You're right about that. There's numbers that you can put on. You can put in between numbers, and you can choose either.
I know you can put it on table.
Wait, maybe you are right. Is it red and black? I swear it's white and black. I don't think it's red and black.
It's red and black, you bitch.
Is it?
Red and black, yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'm retarded then. Jeez, my apologies. My apologies, sir. My apologies. I haven't been to the casino in a very long time. Yeah, it is red and black. Wow. Wow. Wow, bro. What? Just goes to show, bro. You're a fucking gambler, bro. I don't want to hang around you.
Yeah,
Bro.
I'm
You're a
bro, I'm
fucking
a risk taker.
loser.
What can I say?
You're a
I'm
loser,
a risk
bro.
taker.
You're a fucking loser.
But okay, think about this, right? Think about this, right? I put it all on red. It goes black. I've lost 30K.
Yeah.
I put 60K on black, on red.
Mm-hmm.
I win my money back.
Yeah, but you also could have won both times. So then again, you're kind of like you're looking at the opportunity loss.
No, I'm just saying, like, if I do lose, just double it, double your bet, bet again.
Yeah.
If it comes off, you get your money back.
Yeah, I know. But you also like what I'm trying to say is there's that potential gain that you could have had if you won both times.
I know. And then if I win both, then I leave.
Yeah. Well,
and
good luck with that. You know, like I'm not
I'm
saying you shouldn't do it, but
at that point I'm 90K up, you know?
Right.
So I'm just thinking,
look,
like, logically.
I'm just gonna hit you up with this lucrative idea, right? You don't have to try it. You don't have to try it. I'm just saying. So I know
that if you win, it's not double.
I know a few girls in like Bulgaria, Romania, and stuff, right? Right. This is just an idea, right? I know a few girls in those regions, right? Great looking girls, beautiful girls. We buy an investment property, right? And we rent it, and then we bring in those girls, like 5, 6 of them from those countries, right? And they'll love to come to a different country because their countries are poor, and they'll look forward to it. And then we start a cam business, right? Yeah. Okay. And then when we start our cam business, we have to change our last names to something powerful, right? I'm thinking Fate.
Okay.
Right? Jack Fate.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay,
I'm listening.
you're listening. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay, ready. So we've got this house. We've got these girls that are doing these cams now for us, making us this passive income, right?
Yeah.
And then we don't take advantage of them.
Treat them like humans.
Right. And we also don't ask for 50% of the cut. We don't ask for 50% of the cut either. And we don't sexually abuse them. So,
agreed.
Yeah. So, and then what we could do with that investment money, we could use that investment money from there.
And if anyone comes to the house, we threaten them to deport them back to their country.
Right. Yeah. Because you're not a fucking resident here. You're not part of the Commonwealth. They weren't Commonwealth.
Yep.
And so in the next part, we take that money, right, and we funnel it into like I guess me and you could start like some sort of like journalistic academy or something, you know, teach people how to do podcasts and stuff, and like how to be like a real man, how to get rich. But and then we
charge people lots of money for it on a monthly subscription.
Well, not only charge, but we also get some of that cam money. We funnel into advertising, and we pay losers that want to be cool, right? We pay them to be like, "Yo, have you listened to Jack Fate?"
Yeah.
Right.
And so do you know what's more powerful?
That's what I'm thinking you should do with
other people advertising. So word of mouth is stronger than us saying, you know, so if we're advertising, getting people to say, hey, have you listened to this guy? That's more powerful than me saying, hey, listen to me. Because nobody listens to someone who says, listen to me. People listen to other people saying, listen to this
Listen
guy.
to him. Yeah.
Exactly. We should do that, right? We should do that. I'm going to always say, you should listen to this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, don't even say it. And then someone will watch you and be like, isn't this you on the podcast as well? Yeah, but not fuck me. This guy, bro. Listen to this guy.
This guy,
bro.
yeah. He's honestly
so funny,
if you need
bro.
Wisdom tips, if you need tips on
wisdom tips,
be rich.
That's what I'm gonna call my YouTube.
To my boy Rash. He honestly, you'll be rich. You'll be rich.
That's gonna be my YouTube, wisdom tips and tricks.
Yo guys, what's going on? It's Wisdom Tips
Hey
and Tricks
guys,
here.
so
What's going on, guys? It is Wisdom Tips and Tricks here.
is WTT?
What is going on? It's Whiteboy Wisdom Tips here.
White boy wisdom.
That's actually not bad. You gotta have my name. Why?
White boy wisdom. Anyway, that should be kind of funny. Like,
Yeah.
What
So,
is
yeah,
what
that'd be
is
good.
what? Because like I've heard people be like, "Oh, black boy, like magic, or like black boy wisdom." Like one of my black friends has
That
said it
just
a few
sounds
times
racist, bro.
before.
That just sounds racist.
Well, then he's racist
And the way
himself.
you said that as
My
well, dude, that
apologies.
wasn't Whiteboy Wisdom. What you just said there. One of my black
Well,
friends.
what I was about to say is, what is white boy wisdom? Like, what's white boy wisdom? Like
I think Whiteboy.
Like, if she's got I got a good one. If she's got herpes, only fuck for about a minute. Because if you go over that minute threshold, the herpes catch you.
That is very Whiteboy.
Also, I assume.
Yeah, I'd say what very white boy is knowing where you're welcome. So
everywhere
there are certain places. Yeah, there are certain places where I think yours is not welcome. And as a white boy, you have to know those places.
Right.
That's a tip. That's some wisdom for white boys. White boy wisdom.
What else is some white boy? What else would be some white boy wisdom? Like don't fuck, hold up.
It's how you season your chicken.
Yeah, but that's not white boy wisdom. You know what I mean? That's for everyone.
No.
No, but it's gotta be for like white, like it's gotta be like white boy shit. I'm saying, like, you know, like don't okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Like when you're angry, I got a good one. When you're angry,
cliff hanging, cave hunting.
Yeah, that's white boy stuff. But what I was gonna say is what I was gonna say is when you are angry, punch walls that can't be hit through.
Yeah, gyprock isn't needed. None of this gyprock trash. You need brick.
Yeah. So brick like you want your hand to be broken before whatever you're hitting is broken. That's white boy wisdom right there.
Yeah. And be tempted to use your head.
Yeah, because that will actually work the best. Because if you hit your head off the wall, it will kind of like it's like a reset, you know? Your mind will have a reset, and then like
the afterlife.
And another thing, I'll give you some straight up
wisdom.
Be religious. I'll give you some straight up wisdom that I'm assured of. When you hit something because you're so angry, if you hit it so hard, the pain kind of numbs the anger. Because the pain is so much like more than the anger. But sometimes it doesn't work and it doubles down where now I'm even angrier because I'm hurt.
Now you're angry and hurt. I'm not much of a hit. I used to be. How much stuff have you hit? Like
recently?
I know you've hit screens. No, just in your life, like generally, like recently as well. Yeah, go for it.
I kicked screens. I've never hit one.
I've punched my screen, like my old TV screen. I punched one.
But I only kicked my TV because I knew it couldn't be broken because it was back in the days where we used to have those thick TVs and the fucking the legit glass was like this thick. Like I always think about it, like those TVs. If you broke that glass off of someone's head, like nah. You know what I mean? That killed a man straight away. That shit was so thick. I would kick it like as hard as I could from like the distance I'm here, like a chair with my chair now, and I go bang, bang. But yeah, I don't think I've hit anything in a while.
I haven't. I remember when I was younger, I
had a punching bag.
Yeah, bro, that's the worst answer I've ever heard in my life.
Right, but that's still hitting something.
Yeah, no, I remember I used to get really, I remember when I used to get really angry, like if I was playing games or anything, I would get like I would have something close to me that like I could throw, but it would be really soft.
Right.
Like, because that was my thought. I'd be like, when I'm angry, I need something like a pair of socks rolled up in a ball so I can just ditch at the wall. But every time it happened, that just wasn't enough. It's the feeling of wanting to break something that makes you feel like strong and a man again.
The rage comes from like you destroying something, and that's I had the same idea as you where I was like, oh, I just punch my pillow, I'll throw my pillow, and it never really did anything. And then what I started doing was I'll just start punching walls.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it got to a point where my hand and my knuckle would hurt so much. And like I said, sometimes you'll mask the pain, sometimes you wouldn't. But regardless, it still felt like something was accomplished.
Yeah, no, I get you. I think I've told the story of how I punched the wall and it was a gyprock wall, so I went through it, and then I had to patch it up before my parents got home.
Yeah, yeah.
And then never noticed. Funny enough, my mum then watched this podcast, watched that clip or whatever it was.
Oh,
and was like, yeah, she called me like no longer and was like, what? Like,
when the fuck did this happen? Yeah.
I don't know, yeah, and she was honest, oh, fair play, like, you know,
yeah. Look, I'll be honest. I had a Carl moment when I was dating someone as well. Like I was so angry, I punched the door, and I didn't even mean to like break the door. I think I just was like reactionary punching it, like because she wasn't letting me out of the door, and it was my door, of my room, and I was like,
it sounds like a very toxic relationship. That does.
Well, no, it wasn't. Okay, it was a well integrated one.
Yeah.
And I punched the door, and it made like a little dent. Like it didn't go fully through, but it made a dent. And then one day my stepdad was pissed off that I hadn't changed the door, and so one day I'm just laying in my bed. I'm laying in my bed one day. I'm fucking snoozing. I'm sleeping nicely, and I just hear. I'm like, what the fuck? I get up. I'm shitting myself. I'm like, what the fuck? And I just see his arm fully through, then his leg fully through the door. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then that day, I ended up changing the door because I needed to. Because he was like, if you're gonna dent it, make sure to fucking go through it. And I was like, fair enough.
Was that just random after like a period of time? Like how long after?
Yeah, I think it's because I kept the door unfixed for a while, and I think my mum was getting like annoyed by it and naggy, and then my stepdad just kind of just had enough of it, and so yeah, it was a good story. It was a good vibe. It's funny.
It's good way of fixing
things. So like once again, white boy wisdom: hit walls, and ones that don't break. Ones that don't break.
Very wise.
Or just bang your head into something until you bleed. Yeah.
Internally.
Nah, I'm always bleeding, like not bleeding, but I'm always hurting internally. So there's no need for me to cause more internal pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
There was something else I wanted to bring up. Oh, the Hakimi thing. Did you see the Hakimi thing?
No, I did. I don't know. So I have no idea if this is real or not. But like, because it seems a bit like one of those things that goes around that's actually fake. That like is just like a load of bullshit. You know?
No, they keep releasing more and more stuff. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I already knew that Hakimi gave all his money away, because he's like, it's always been like known that he's been like that he like donated.
Yeah, he gave it straight.
But I didn't realize that was kind of like a loophole. I didn't really realize that was kind of a loophole.
Right, that you could sign it off on your mum's name and then legitimate, because he's going to go back.
Yeah, to give context. Yeah, Achraf Hakimi is a footballer who plays for PSG,
Morocco.
Who's incredibly rich, and Moroccan, who essentially donates 80%. I think it's 80% of his salary to his mum, and has all his properties in his mum's name. His wife tried to divorce him and
take half of everything.
Take half of everything, and he doesn't really have anything because it's all in his mum's name.
Right,
so he gets nothing.
Did you see?
By the way,
his lawyers have flipped it though. Now, did you hear about it?
What they want?
The lawyers flipped it because she came after his stuff, and he has nothing, and so they're like, oh, well, no, don't forget your half. And now they're gonna take her half, and she's taking nothing.
But so this is the thing that I don't understand. Right? Is like, apparently he cheated, which I'm very sorry, but cheating on someone doesn't entitle you to half of their shit. Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, because like the only time I can agree with that is if you've built it together.
Or so like this circumstance. Say for an example, they have 4 kids together or 3 kids together.
Yeah,
and she's looked after the kids. Like while he's been working, understandable.
Yeah,
like he's like a big part of their life. They need money. Understandable. Right. But like, if they've got no kids, they've got no like she's had all this time and she's just been off in Morocco, off in like going off in like love
Yeah,
and
but that's
life,
what I was gonna say. That's
like
the
being a
problem.
freelance.
That's the problem
What,
with
why
the
do they deserve
situation.
anything? Why do they deserve anything in that case? Like,
Right.
if you don't have kids and you've not like you as a person haven't been limited in your time to be a mother or to do anything, why the fuck do you get anything?
Right.
It should be amicable.
You've probably gained more from dating the guy. You know what I mean?
100%. If you're especially if you're not working, then that's unbelievable. But like, you've honestly gotten time to go do your thing while like he's probably making enough money to settle you both.
It's just see with even with the situation that you were just giving before, I can understand that it could be fair, but sometimes you don't know what the mother of your children is like and what she's going to use that. I've known people.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
I've known people in cases where you give half and you're like, I'm fine because like she raised my children and she's going to continue to raise my children. I can only see them on the weekend, so I'd rather pay her. But then you end up like finding out that the kids ain't getting shit, bro. She's been going to fucking Bali, been fucking getting her fucking tits done, doing this, doing that. You know what I mean? And it's a weird situation. It's a weird thing because you want the best for your kids and you want to send the money so she can raise your kids, but you don't know if she's even spending it on the kids. That also comes down to like you got to be careful of who you have your kids with. You know what I mean?
100%. I understand that. I was more so just saying the example of like, that is the understandable, that I can understand where money goes. Obviously, like there needs to be updates as well. Like, for an example, I think like I don't see how it's hard that that for an example, you've been divorced a year and one side has the kids majority of the time, she's got money coming in from a man, say for an example. I don't see how it's hard that she just gives the court or a business. I don't think it even needs to be a court matter, but like they give them 12 months worth of statements. This is what's going on into my account. This is what's gone out. So there you can see all the payments come from him. You can see everything I've spent it on. And then you go, oh, what was this trip to fucking Barbados? What was this? And you can be
it was my own pay. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like you can clearly see, and it's like it's not hard to do the math and be like, okay, he's giving you X, and you spent more X plus however much on stupid shit. Like it's so obvious to like, it's so easy to tell. So I don't understand why it's such a hard like thing to manage when it seems quite easy in that sense. I saw I don't know if this is like even related, but like I see a lot of like this woman that's a judge that's always weirdly defending the man, if that makes sense. Like all the clips are just like because obviously they know it will go viral.
I think I know who you're talking about. I do think I know who you're talking about.
It's a woman judge that like essentially these two the ex-parents, the divorcees come in and they're like, oh, so you're earning this much and he's paying you this much, but you have a job that you earn more money than him and he's still paying for the kids. And then she's just like, no. And I'm just like, that's like, obviously I feel like that's all completely staged just for TikTok because that's what people want to see, that generating for that man that's like, you fuck her over, bro. That's a very popular demographic at the moment.
Well, that's
there is
most videos.
By the way, there is so much content. There is so much content for that dude that loves like to feel like get over on the woman, like because do you know how like Andrew Tate got popular with that podcast?
But don't you think that's the same? Don't you think that's the same with like women as well? Like, don't you think there's plenty of like females out there that are like, men ain't shit, this and that. You can fucking trick him, queen. You deserve it.
100%. I think it's like it's funny to watch. I think weirdly the like female side of it's more just straightforward with it. You know what I mean? Like the women's side of it is just like they're a bit fuck men. You know, like the male side is like. The male side is strategic, weirdly. Like the male side is, okay, we're going to set up a podcast. We're going to get women to ask stupid, dumb questions so that a man can sit on the other side and be like, this is why you're wrong. You're dumb.
Right. And most of the women that you're bringing in are fucking legitimately half brain dead.
Yeah. Because there's this new one, because obviously Andrew Tate's podcast blew up because of what it like was, and of that like same ilk, like that was what it was. Right. Brain dead people to make brain dead comments. and then they were like, no, this is what it is, and then people were like, oh my god, he's so smart, but it was actually just these dumb cunts that he was talking to. But anyway, there's this that I keep seeing this new podcast where this guy gets these women like just gorgeous women like coming onto the podcast and just saying the most stupid, just dumb shit, like that is just obvious, like just pandering towards like giving women the right way of everything, right? And then him just being like, well, don't you think that's unfair? Don't you think that's what about like?
Are you talking about the brown dude? Are you talking about the brown dude with the short hair?
No.
Like
that was
that does
Tate
stuff with Sneeko and stuff.
No, that was the one that Andrew Tate got famous on, wasn't
it? Yeah.
No, that's
that
the
guy's podcast. I don't actually know. Shout out to that guy.
That's the blueprint. That's the blueprint.
Okay.
But then this is the white guy. This white guy. Essentially, there was this one there who was just like, oh, do you think you can be racist towards white people? And then the girl essentially just like says something quite patronizing, like, oh, like paying up for it, And then she's like, oh, do you really think that? Like, and then he goes, well, yeah. And I was like, it's crazy that like you're white knighting that badly,
Right.
Like, as much as it's it can be a thing, it definitely can in like certain aspects. But like, I wouldn't be out there just being like wearing it on my chest, right. It's not something I'm just like out here like, yeah, this is the problem. And there is a huge issue here that we need to discuss, because it's not an issue that we need to discuss at all.
Well,
I just find it hilarious.
I think the funny thing nowadays is majority of the issues that are popular or the ones that people want us to talk about or are really like adamant about like making a change on these things, all these fucking ideas, like all of these ideas, all of these like avenues, they're fucking like pointless in some sense. Like a lot of these things like are getting us nowhere. Answering them is legitimately getting us nowhere either. It's like I know it's stupid to compare it to this, but it's very similar. Some of these questions are very similar to the thing of like, oh, well, what is God? And then it's like, well, do you have physical proof? And people are like, well, these things were written, or these people said these things, or it's like, oh, there's this or there's that. And it's like, you can prove it and you can disprove it and you can come to so many different answers, but there is still no answer. Do you know what I mean? Just like with the whole like gender discussion, it's like, yeah, we can, let's say in 10 years, we all end up just accepting it and being like, yeah, there's fucking 67 genders, bro. Or it turns back around and goes back to there's 2 genders, right? The problem is still not resolved. The issue at hand is still not resolved. Some people will be like, this is unfair. And the other side will be like, this is unfair. And it's like, it's one of those things where like majority of the stuff online nowadays is like, it's arguments about nothing.
Bro, sorry, the Arsenal lineup just got announced, so I had to give a cheeky peek,
The what lineup?
The Arsenal lineup.
Oh, who you guys playing tonight?
West Ham.
Bro, speaking of West Ham, I've been watching a little bit of a Wrexham. Yeah. And I find it like pretty fascinating, like what Ryan Reynolds and that other guy did. I love how like Ryan Reynolds and that other guy that no one knows, like his name's Rob or some shit.
Pour a shit ton of money into a league and absolutely demolish it.
Yeah. But you could say that, right? You could say that. Or you could say that now it's opened an avenue for more people to come in and invest in that league.
Well, no, like that's at the end of the day, that's what you have to do if you want to promote a team. It's as simple as that. You have to put money into it.
You have to put money into it, and the way they advertise it, and the way they've dedicated like a whole media plan to it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, this is so uncanny for a small league team. You know what I mean? Like, even some of the Premier League teams don't have a full game-to-game like footage, highlights behind the cameras. these people talking, the CEOs talking. Do you know what I mean? It's not like
they don't have. They've only just done like recent. They've only done recently
right.
that they've done like Amazon documentaries, but they're all publicized. But like,
Right,
obviously,
but exactly,
like, they're not.
but
Still not the same. Yeah, I get
they're all. It's not the same. It's like the closest thing I can think of Wrexham is hashtag. Hashtag was the blueprint for Wrexham. I swear to God, I feel like that actually might be the case. I feel like one of them saw that shit online and was like, "Why don't we just buy a big club?"
Yeah, like a bigger. Like Wrexham. Yeah, Wrexham are bigger than where they are.
Yeah,
Wrexham like we used to be like way back in the day up there.
Well, yeah, they have the
no,
oldest. They have one of the oldest stadiums.
Funnily enough, yeah. Funny enough, you mention it. Because I went to a Dorking game yesterday.
Yeah.
And essentially Dorking is like a team that like their manager owns the club. So he created the club, played for it when he was younger.
Yeah.
With his mates, got 12 promotions in 23 odd years. And now is in the same league as they're in the same league as Wrexham.
Oh wow,
so
really? Okay.
They're in. So yeah, they recently just lost like 4-2 to them, I think, recently. They're at the bottom. They're like 18th. This is their first year in this league. It's their first time ever.
Okay.
And he, but they have the documentary series on them on YouTube. And it's honestly hands down the best documentary series. If you're like a fan of like genuine, he's rich as well. The owner, he's an owner / manager. He still manages them.
That's
which
cool.
is cool. And he's a dope guy. He's dope. His name's Mark White. I actually seen him yesterday, like literally a meter in front of me.
Oh, really?
But shout out to him. But that for me, like, I support them in that league because I've watched like everything of them for the last like 2 years. But they're like Wrexham, for an example, like they've got a championship level striker playing for them. Just to be petty for a minute. They're paying
and
Paul
now
Mullin
they've got Ben Foster as well.
They've got Ben Foster in goal, who's saying like they've got a Premier League quality goalkeeper in there. Like it's kind of not fair, especially on Notts County, because Notts County deserved it. Like are so good.
Yeah, they deserve progress. Recently. Yeah.
But it's really tough because like everyone as well like talks about how because in that National League there's only one promotion spot, and then there's like a playoff for the second one, and Notts County should win it, but football's football, and they could lose one of those.
Yeah, you never know.
Another year
but then again, like you said, you could look at it from an angle of like that's unfair, But then I said, it's giving the league more vision. Like it's putting the league.
I don't think it's there's nothing at the end of the day. There's nothing wrong. There is something wrong with it, but there's nothing wrong with it because of what football has become.
Right.
Like, if we wanted this not to happen, we would have stopped Man City 10, 12 years ago from doing it. We would have stopped Chelsea, Abramovich from doing it. We would have stopped all these This is why there was like lots of controversy when Newcastle got owned by the Saudis, is because they were like, well, the Premier League were like, no, we don't want the Saudis to be an owner. But then everyone was kind of like, well, you let City do it, you let Russia do it with Chelsea, you let these other states do it with these other clubs. Why are you now putting a stop to it? Because it's something that doesn't suit your agenda. So that is what the issues were. But like that's the issue now, is that where do you say no? Where do you say, okay, no, this is actually too much money because you're just sports washing, you're doing whatever you're doing. So
I think there should,
in theory, in a perfect world,
I think there should be an annual cap.
There is something wrong with it, but
I think
there won't be though, because it's a global sport. You can't.
I know.
It's a global sport. You can't.
I understand that's kind of what fucks with it, is because like then like each league will have to implement it. But I also think like at least in terms of like Wrexham, like I think the intention was clean. I think the intention was good. I think they bought the club for a good reason. I think they are putting money into it for a good reason. So I don't see like I understand what you mean. Like it like
it
devalues the other clubs.
If you go to Manchester,
balances things.
If you go to Manchester, if you go around the area of Manchester City, it's only positive. It's only like the area is richer. Like the ground is unbelievable, state of the art now. Like that area around it has risen up. Like
and that also goes to
the same will happen. The same will happen with Newcastle. They'll invest in things around the club. They'll make the whole infrastructure a lot better. It's good for it.
It's the academy. It will build the academies, and the children around that area can actually get built up into professional football players through the academy. So like you said, It's the things that are around it will benefit it as well.
It's tough, right? Because like the only real way of doing it is the way Germany do it. Oh shit! I just turned my phone off. 1 sec. Why is my phone now not turning on?
I can still hear you. So okay. There you go.
There you go. So, but the way Germany do it is they have a 50% rule, 51% rule, where essentially fans own 51% of the club. So so that like
the decisions
essentially. See, this is the thing, right? Because Qatar are in the middle of trying to buy Man United. So Man United are probably going to become a superpower again in a short moment because they're going to be owned by Qatar. So it's and like the thing is, right?
Shout out Man Qatar United, Airways.
Yeah, shout out. Man U are going to be so strong because one, they've got all the revenue in the world because they've got the biggest fan base in the world, or probably Barcelona, Real Madrid. And they'll have all the money to spend, so they can they can spend the most fairly. Because the problem with Man City is that they boost their revenue numbers because they have to, because they actually don't have any fans and so on and so forth. To spend the money, they have to. It's all dirty shit. But like that's what's fair in my opinion. So like for an example, like what Wrexham are doing is I think really good in terms of like broadcasting it to the world, and they've probably got more fans than the odd team which means they should have more money to spend because they bring in more revenue.
They're bringing in more revenue.
That makes absolute sense. The problem is when it is just like a team that has been pushed into money, you know, and then because like in Germany essentially there's RB Leipzig. Red Bull Leipzig. But they essentially are hated in Germany because of the fact that that's what they did. They pumped it with money. They're really young. But they're hated in Germany because that's not the way you do shit.
Yeah, you're supposed to take step by step. Yeah, you're supposed to win through all the leagues normally. You know what I mean?
Well, you look at so I'll give you a good example as well. Luton Town at the moment, they're in the playoffs for the championship. I don't know if you should Google into their stadium. It's a fucking joke, bro. It's a joke.
Really?
They've been. It's like they were in non-league football not long ago, long ago, and they've just been that going on and on and on. And their stadium is literally like this. If you go up the stairs towards the stands, you see into people's houses. Like it's like the most unbelievable stadium you'll see. And like if they make it to the Premier League, they have to spend like 10 million on like stadium advances.
Yeah,
because they just don't have the capacity. They don't have anything. And it's unbelievable what they're doing. And they're favourites at the moment to probably go up through the playoffs because they're playing really well at the moment, which is going to be interesting because they're just not big enough for the Premier League. But it's like, I think clubs are going that way because like Hashtag are obviously doing it really well. I think they played their game. I think if they
don't they rent at a place like something like that? Don't rent a stadium?
They're working on buying a stadium at the moment. But if Hashtag won yesterday, actually I haven't checked their result because normally I wait for their upload. But if Hashtag won yesterday, they won the league. So
really?
To them. Yeah, they're promoted again. Which is crazy because the Hashtag will be in the same league as like Wrexham are now, I reckon, and that's where they'll petty out and they'll sit there for a while, I think, because they have enough fans to bring in that amount consistent. Like for an example, at Dorking yesterday, there was 1,800 there, which is quite a lot. A lot. Like because Dorking has a big following because of the documentary series as well, and obviously because of the hype around them. But so I think Hashtag could probably generate that pretty well, but I don't see where they Hashtag won't fill out 20,000 seat arenas every week, for an example. So they won't make it that far. But they'll need investment at a certain point.
It will slow down
to take them to the next level.
Yeah.
But this at the moment, the genuine revenue they're making, and also just the appeal of playing for the club because you get more of a name for yourself. Because for players at that level, so much better. So like you might be a step or two above, but you go, oh shit, I want to play for them.
I'd rather play for Hashtag because I get way more publicity.
Exactly. So like and people won't like that, but that is. But why wouldn't you make that decision for yourself?
It's an advantage.
Why would you as a footballer? Why would you as a footballer would you not make that event do that?
Right.
So
because let's say you're like let's say you're 2 leagues above. You're 2. Let's say you're 1 away from the championship, and by the time you get to the championship, that's when you're televised like properly. You know what I mean? And you don't know if you're gonna like make it. No clubs want you or anything. but hashtag is like 3 leagues down. And then you get 3 leagues down and everyone's like, why would you do that? You were good enough to almost play in the championship. And then they see your talent in there, especially in comparison to the guys that are leagues above you, right? And then a championship team goes, oh shit, like maybe we should buy him.
You're actually crazy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what Paul Mullen's kind of done with Wrexham. Like that's probably like better because Paul Mullen should be playing in a championship. He's a championship level striker playing for Wrexham at the moment in the national level. Which is like fair play to him. He's getting paid, to be fair, like quite a lot because they obviously have the money. And like Ben Foster also, like I don't like Ben Foster's move. I don't hate just because he played for him 1 year on loan. Like he went to him on loan as a youngster from Man U. So like he's kind of got like a bit of affinity towards him. So he because he retired. Ben Foster retired.
Yeah. Did you see? They were like
Ben Foster makes. I don't know if you know, but Ben Foster makes YouTube videos.
That's what I was legitimately about to say. Was there was an article which is so funny because they're like YouTuber signs for Wrexham, and it's like he's had enough of a football past.
You mean the ex-Premier League footballer with hundreds of appearances in the Premier League?
Which is insane that they go YouTuber signs for Wrexham. It's like who? Fucking Manny?
Yeah. Mini Minter signed for
Mini Minter. Yeah.
No, he's a huge YouTuber now. Like he's got over 1 million subs.
Yeah,
he's actually. To be fair, he's good at he's honestly good at that side of things. It's not bad how like listening to what like a goalkeeper talks about, and he gets like a lot of people on, which are interesting as well because of the fact that he knows a lot of people.
He's known them, he's played with them,
yeah. But like, actually, to be fair to him, he seems like quite a genuine dude. Ex-YouTuber. And like, do you know what was hilarious, right? Because he obviously puts the GoPro in the goal for like for everything, and which is in the Premier League, you couldn't do that. He didn't press record for the GoPro for the penalty save in the last seconds of the last county. So the whole second half. He didn't record. Yeah.
Oh, they got it on other cameras, so it's all right. They got it from other angles, but not from the angle he wants, I'm guessing. So
yeah, which is funny. But it's you got anything else, bro?
No, I think I'm basically
I'm gonna go get ready
fucking done.
West Ham, bro.
Did I mention that I watched that movie Air before or last week? The Nike movie. So. The Nike movie.
Oh, the one you were going on about. Yeah.
Well, just want to talk about that movie. That movie was fucking amazing. And something that they did in that movie was so smart that I was like, wow, that's like, I don't know why I thought this was so genius, but I personally, there's like a marketing tactic or just overall movie tactic. It was perfect. In the movie, no one plays Jordan.
Yeah, okay.
So you see Jordan as just a person that's like walking through or some shit. Like you never get to see his face. You see some people like introduce themselves to him and stuff, but the story is mainly about the guys at Nike and then Jordan's mother, which was kind of settling the deal with them. She was like the first. She was the main reason they even got a meeting at Nike. So regardless, anyways, so. Great fucking movie. Like one of the better movies I've watched in a while.
So do they use like any actual basketball clips? Like do they use any like basketball? Like
No.
Okay, yeah. No. So you don't actually ever see? Okay, that's interesting.
No, you never see Jordan.
Do you hear him talk?
No.
Okay, so like okay, that's interesting.
I think they did the right thing because if they did have Jordan right. You're
portraying him. It's like I get
you'd have to portray him in different ways. Then Jordan would come in and be like, I need to be viewed this way, and also just takes away from the movie. You know what I mean? Because I think when you're such a polarizing figure, like it's hard for anything else in the movie to be like paid attention to.
Yeah, I get everything's then about him, and it's not about everything's about how.
And the movie's not about him. It's about how Nike signed him more so than anything.
About the product,
And it's a really good movie. It's very inspirational. Just very general. I've watched a lot of movies in the past 10 years, and this is one of the better ones out of the fucking in 10 years. Very, very surprised by that. That's the only thing I got to say.
I'm happy it sounds like quite artistic in that way. Yeah,
it
like,
is.
It's not like
it is. It's well made. It's really well made, and the acting is great. Like all the actors fucking smash it. Like absolutely smash. Especially Viola Davis as Jordan's mother. She killed that fucking role. She smashed it. Sunday Select. Oh, you got a Sunday Select? I can't think of. I
can't. Mine's probably. I've been listening to a lot of IDK this week again. So mine will be Porno by IDK.
Great song.
I don't know if I've done it before, but there you go.
Yeah, I don't know if I've done Strike by Yachty. No, I didn't. I did Search and Rescue. I did Search and Rescue last week. Strike or Holster by Yachty. So, yeah.
There you go.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Right, thank you.
And we'll be back.
Thank you.
Next week. Bye. Bye.